Cleetus McFarland finished second at Talladega Superspeedway this April. He led 19 laps in an ARCA Menard Series car and lost the win by about a tenth of a second in a three-wide scramble to the tri-oval stripe. 3 weeks before that, sitting in a Richard Childress racing stock car at Rockingham Speedway, he finished 32nd and spun more than once. Those two results tell you exactly where his career actually sits right now. However, the race car he just bought to close that gap is not a superspeedway missile. It is a pro-late model. He paid for it by selling a boat, and it might be the smartest money he has ever spent in his life. What he actually bought. Let's break down what he actually bought, because the details matter way more than the headline does. Cleetus stands well over 6 feet tall, which is a genuine engineering problem inside a purpose-built short-track race car where the seat, the roll cage, and the steering position are all packaged tight around a driver of average height. So Mark Rett, who co-owns Port City and fields the Erik Jones racing entries, Cleetus has been driving in ARCA competition, built this chassis specifically around his frame. Then look at the body. Cleetus McFarland is a Chevrolet guy, in the way that some people are religious about a football team. His O'Reilly Auto Parts Series car at Richard Childress Racing is a Chevy. That one small decision tells you everything about the mindset going into this program. The Tri-County Shakedown then, he took it to Tri-County Speedway in North Carolina and ran a full day of testing on it. Nothing dramatic, and the rest of the day went about as well as a first shakedown can possibly go. He called it way better than all of the other cars he had been driving. He talked about how much grip the thing generates, and how it does not have so much horsepower that you instantly get in trouble. He said his neck was literally burning, because in a pro-late model, you are turning the wheel almost constantly around a short track, in a straight line at the Freedom Factory. What racecraft actually means now, let's define the word everybody keeps throwing around. Racecraft is the ability to run door-to-door for 80 laps without wrecking somebody. It is knowing when to release the brake pedal on corner entry so the nose bites instead of pushing to the wall. It is feeling the right rear tire go away over a green flag run and adjusting your line before the lap times fall off a cliff. It is choosing the top groove or the bottom groove on a restart with 4 cars stacked around you and exactly 1 shot to make it stick. It is working lapped traffic, managing a spotter's rhythm, and knowing when a run on the leader is real versus when you are about to overdrive the corner and hand away 12 positions. Dale Jr. called it first, and that is exactly what Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been telling him for months. Back on May 30th at Nashville Superspeedway, Cleetus started dead last after qualifying got rained out, and he finished 32nd, multiple laps down in that Childress car. Dale Jr. talked to him on pit road afterward, then went on his podcast and laid out a genuine plan. He pointed out that Cleetus already has a pro-late model. "Go run that," he said. He pointed out that Cleetus owns an entire racetrack in Braden, Florida. Dale also floated the bigger version of the idea, which is 2 full seasons in ARCA, running every single race on the schedule instead of picking and choosing. The thread running through all of it is repetition. NASCAR said it officially. What makes this even more serious is that NASCAR said the same thing officially. Back in April, after that rough O'Reilly Series debut at Rockingham, the sanctioning body declined to approve Cleetus for the O'Reilly race at Talladega. John Probst, NASCAR's executive vice president and chief racing development officer, went on the Hauler Talk podcast and explained the reasoning in plain language. They love the guy. They appreciate everything he has brought to the sport. But they wanted to see more out of Cleetus on the short tracks, and the number 33 Pro late model sitting in his shop right now is Cleetus checking the box. Mid-roll CTA. If you're enjoying this breakdown, hit subscribe. We cover the short track and NASCAR development scene every single week. The Talladega paradox, the part that fascinates me the most, is that his season splits perfectly down the middle. On superspeedways, this guy can already flat out drive. He ran 11th in the ARCA opener at Daytona. He finished 4th at Rockingham in the ARCA East race, his first career ARCA top 5, and dedicated it to Greg Biffle. He was running 7th at Kansas before a mechanical failure knocked him back, and then Talladega happened, where he started 20th, sliced up to 2nd by the competition caution, led 19 laps, survived the big one with 7 to go, and got beaten to the line by Andy Jankowiak. He called it the greatest race he had ever been a part of, and he climbed on the roof of that Erik Jones Ford like he had won the thing. At Michigan, he even won the pole before a late incident dropped him to 14th. Meanwhile, in the Truck Series, he ran 37th at Daytona and 25th at Michigan, and in the O'Reilly Series, he has been 32nd twice. Do you see the pattern? The laps per dollar math, the economics here are brutal in his favor. Cleetus said it himself, that a late model gets him a lot of experience for a lot cheaper than going ARCA racing all the time. A partial ARCA schedule might give him 10 or 12 race weekends a year at national touring cost. The business play then, there is the business layer, and this is where it goes from smart to genuinely clever. Cleetus has launched his own series, called Cleetus McFarland's Late Model Series, and the debut event is August 15th at Berlin Raceway in Marne, Michigan. 75 laps, $20,000 to the winner. Run under the UARA National Rulebook, the same package used for Money in the Bank and the Battle at Berlin. Every lap he turns to develop himself as a driver is simultaneously a lap that feeds his media business, the Berlin Gauntlet, which brings us to the real test, and it is 3 days from now. On August 12th, Cleetus is entered in the Battle at Berlin, a $40,000 to win super late model race with a $2,000 entry fee and roughly 30 cars on the list. Carson Hocevar and Erik Jones, 2 Cup Series regulars who call Berlin their home track. Bubba Pollard, one of the most decorated short track racers alive. Trayton Lapsevich, Kyle Steckley, Terry Seneker, Joey Doiron. That is a murderer's row of short track talent, and Hocevar has already said this whole thing adds a degree of healthiness to super late model racing. Greg Biffle mentored this guy, pushed him to slow down and do it properly, and then died in an aviation accident in December. Cleetus has been chasing Daytona ever since, sometimes faster than the sport was willing to let him go. His next NASCAR start is the Craftsman Truck Series race at Talladega on October 23rd, and he is under a 2-year deal with Richard Childress Racing. He finally stopped buying speed and started buying experience. So the question is simple: does he beat the clock? Drop your prediction for Berlin in the comments, and go hit that subscribe button.